So, a single foreign policy decision, and just like that, shockwaves rip through Pakistan. We're talking fiery protests, cities on lockdown, and a trail of violence. We're going to explore how a conflict happening thousands of miles away is basically tearing this nation apart from the inside. It's a strange situation when you think about it, right? A ceasefire, a deal that's supposed to bring peace, is the very thing that's pushed parts of Pakistan to the absolute brink of chaos. So what is really going on here? The whole heart of this crisis, it's rooted in a decision about the conflict in Gaza. A decision that, for many people in Pakistan, didn't feel like a step toward peace. It felt like a profound betrayal. Okay, let's break this down. The trigger for all this chaos was a U.S.-brokered ceasefire. Now, this was supposed to cool things down in Gaza, but in Pakistan, it did the exact opposite. It lit a fuse. So the government in Islamabad, they officially backed the deal. But on the streets, the feeling was completely different. For a huge number of people, this support looked like Pakistan was abandoning the Palestinian cause. And that just sparked this massive and really emotional outrage. Now, all of this public anger didn't just bubble up on its own. It was captured, organized, and then seriously amplified by one very specific and, well, very powerful group. And that brings us to the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, or TLP. Their real power, the thing that makes them such a force to be reckoned with, is their ability to mobilize people on the street. This isn't your typical political party. It's a movement that can bring thousands of fired-up supporters out at a moment's notice, usually over these super emotional, religious, and nationalist causes. They can literally paralyze the country. And they are not shy about their intentions. This quote from the TLP leadership, it pretty much sums up their extreme no-compromise stance. This isn't a call for a conversation. It's a declaration that they're ready for a fight to the very end. And that really set the stage for everything that came next. So with the stage set, this movement pretty quickly turned into a major confrontation. The city of Lahore found itself right at the epicenter of a violent and just rapidly spiraling crisis. And what's really staggering is just how fast this all went down. I mean, think about it. October 9th, the TLP starts their march. Just 2 days later, it's already exploded into major clashes. By the 12th, police are raiding their offices. And by the 14th, the country is dealing with a rising death toll. It was an incredibly quick descent into violence. And this is where we get to the human cost. We're talking more than 15 reported deaths, and that number tragically includes police officers too. This was not a peaceful demonstration. It turned into a deadly battle right on the streets. The streets just devolved into chaos. You had security forces using tear gas and batons to try and control these massive crowds, while protesters were fighting back with stones and, according to some reports, even guns. The government tried to cut the head off the snake, so to speak, by raiding headquarters and arresting leaders. But that whole tactic seemed to backfire. It just poured more fuel on the fire. And this wasn't just happening on a few streets in Lahore. The conflict spread, and it quickly paralyzed huge parts of the country, affecting the daily lives of millions of people. And here you can really see the deadlock. On one side, you've got the TLP with these hardline demands: reject the US-led peace efforts, take a much tougher stance against Israel. And on the other side, you've got the government, which is accusing them of just using the crisis for political gain, all while their own attempts to negotiate a way out are just failing. The ripple effect was huge. I mean, major highways were physically blocked with shipping containers, grinding commerce to a halt. Everyday life just stopped. Businesses, schools, they all had to shut down. Then, in a move that only made the crisis feel worse, the government shut down mobile internet, which left people feeling cut off and just added to this widespread sense of tension and fear. So what we're looking at here is way more than just a protest. This has become a fundamental test for the stability of Pakistan itself, and it has massive implications for the country's future. You know, when you zoom out, you really see the bigger picture. This whole crisis has ripped open these deep social and political fractures in Pakistani society. It's become a direct challenge to the government's authority, and it's blurring the line between a domestic problem and a foreign policy one. What began as a protest about Gaza is now a serious question about who really holds power in Pakistan. So this leaves us with a really critical question. When the fire of domestic anger clashes so violently with complicated foreign policy,
What kind of message does that send to the rest of the world about Pakistan's stability, its priorities, and where it's headed next?